Hi, this is John again, the owner and developer of VectorDecks. I made some maintenance updates and improvements to my existing version of VectorDecks, and I just want to run those by you. The first thing I did was to create workspaces with the VectorDecks toolsets pre-installed in them for the particular VectorWorks product you're using. For example, here I'm in Architect right now. Let me switch over to Landmark. And you'll see this is the standard default VectorWorks Landmark workspace they provide. And I just added the VectorDecks toolsets and to all the other VectorWorks product lines, Architect, Design, Fundamentals, Landmark, and Spotlight. The next thing I did was to fix some issues with respect to how the objects were placed in their stack order. I'll show you here. I'm going to just place a deck frame here real quick. Let me zoom in a little bit. And when you place the beam in my previous version, the beam would appear on top of the frame when in fact it should be underneath the frame. So as you place the different parts, they'll be in their proper stack order. This was important with steps in particular. Yeah, I'll show you. Let me raise this deck height, say to 80 inches. And when you turn the step to a landing that came down below the deck, I'll show you here real quick. Set this to landing and the rectangle. When it turned under the previous version, it would be on top. So in your 2D version, or when you look at it in 2D, it wasn't in the proper stack order. The same is true with the rails. The rails would either be on top or on the bottom. So now we're gonna, this fix makes them appear in their proper stack order on the drawing. Another fix is while you were still in the 2D portion of the VectorDecks parts or drawing, and you went to any 3D view, here I'm going to right isometric, everything displays properly. They're assigned a layer plane, so they'll display to that layer plane. And when you convert to Draw 3D and then go and turn that off, it still maintains those layer settings. So it displays properly in a layer plane in a 3D view. The last thing I'm going to show you here is an improvement to the VectorDecks frame tools in addition to what it's capable of doing. I had a customer who wanted to have the decking surface overhang the outer edge of the frame, and in my previous VectorDecks it would just finish flush and be covered by trim. I'll show you this here. Select the frame and click on Sundeck Frame Settings. And I added this particular parameter, decking overhang. So you could, let's change this to 2 inches. And, the other thing too is I noticed that as I entered any dimensions in any field that had dimensions, it slowed this particular window down because it was redrawing this view as you entered the dimensions. So I turned that off, and after you make the changes you want, then you'd come down here and click on this particular button. Then it updates everything, so it sped up the process. So as you see here, the decking will now overhang the joists. The trim gets adjusted down. You could change, let's change that to, let's say, 1x4. So you can make your changes, and it'll automatically be adjusted with this decking overhang. Let's apply this and see how it looks in the drawing. I turn Draw 3D back on. It'll also be passed to the landing frame, so everything matches properly. I'll zoom in a little closer here. We'll see this. You can see how the decking overhangs. Let me render this in OpenGL. So you see here the decking now does not finish flush, it overhangs, and any of the landings that you have will also get that overhanging applied to it. This pretty much covers the current fixes and updates to the VectorDecks product line, and I hope to make more improvements along the way and make them readily available as fast as possible to all your users.